everybody. Welcome back to Blood, Monsters, and Fears, a horror monster movie podcast, hosted by me, Craig Brosnan.
And me, Anastasia Castleberry.
And this week, we watched another epic slasher. Another topical one, like how Halloween was, because this Friday...
It's Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Ba-ba-da.
Yes, this episode will go up 2 days before Friday the 13th, so get ready to be spooky and get your cheap, crappy tattoos.
Hey, you know what?
What?
Mine was cheap, but it is not crappy.
Yes, Anna has a Friday the 13th tattoo.
I just got called out. You just said my tattoo's crappy.
No, it's not. Most people's are, though. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, I've actually always wanted to get a Friday the 13th tattoo. I always thought it seemed really cool. I have just never been off on a Friday in my entire life.
Well, I guess we can go when you get off from work.
That's true. But I kind of want to play the PlayStation 5.
I swear to God.
The PlayStation 5 comes out on Thursday. Let's go, boys.
I'll never do anything fun.
You know what? This is what you signed up for.
Yeah, that's fair.
So anyway, yes, Friday the 13th. This was Wes Craven.
No.
Right? No? Okay, I don't know my directors.
So this was made by some dude. His name's Sean Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
But I've honestly never heard about him ever.
Is this his only big film?
Yeah.
Did he do the other Friday the 13th?
Nope. I'm
Just
pretty
the
sure
first
he
one?
only filmed this one.
Weird.
I do know that he actually had worked with Wes Craven on one of his really famous movies that you've probably heard of because they've remade it, called The Last House on the Left.
Yes, I have heard of that.
So on the original one, they were all like besties on that.
Oh,
but
okay,
no, this
okay.
is probably the only really notable thing this guy ever did. Probably though, the most famous thing about this movie is that it has Kevin Bacon when he was really young. Like, would you say this was like the fourth movie he ever did? Which I think is
we looked
crazy.
it up because we were like, is this what made him famous? And it was one of the first ones he did.
Because he got this, and then he got Footloose because he was in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why would you? Ew. I don't dislike Kevin Bacon, but I think he's ugly.
Well, that's not very nice.
I don't care. I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm really sorry, Kevin. But I don't love you. Anyway.
I don't know. He's one of those weird actors to me because I feel like he's so famous. And I'm pretty sure this is the first movie I've ever even actually seen him in. Even though he's so well known. Maybe it's just the name because his last name's Bacon and it's funny. Maybe a lot of people just know him because of that.
That's fair.
I don't know. But what were your initial thoughts on Friday the 13th? Or, I mean, not your initial, you've seen it.
Yes.
But...
So, again, like with most of the movies we've talked about, I saw this when I was very young. I saw it when I was like 12. And the reason I watched it is because I saw a documentary about it getting made and like all the stuff behind it and like just the slasher genre in general. So I was like, ooh, I gotta watch. He's spooky. And so I watched it. And even though I know it's not scary, it scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna kill me. He's got a big machete. Because I'm pretty sure when I first...
You said he has the big machete?
Okay, she has a big machete. So I do know that it wasn't that much longer after I first saw this one. That's when the 2009 like version came out.
Is that version good or not?
Oh no.
Really?
It has that one fine guy from Supernatural in it. So of course I've seen it.
Which one?
Sam.
Is that the one most people like?
No, I love Dean. Dean's my man.
okay.
If you guys watch Supernatural, you'll understand.
You also have terrible taste. That's a bad show.
Jensen Ackles is beautiful. I can say.
Jason Ankles?
Jensen Ackles.
Jason Ankles.
Jensen Ackles. Anyway, it's a movie that watching it as old as I am now, I'm just like, it's okay. It's not as slowly paced as Halloween, and that's what I like about it, is like a lot more happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even just that it's gory, like it's really not for what it is. It's just kind of, there's more action, there's more things going on, like there's more human interaction. I don't necessarily like how everyone talks to each other all the time, but I think that's just like the mood of the 70s.
Yeah.
Movies. People kind of being mean to each other. But overall, no, it's not a bad movie. It's just not my favorite movie. But there are like 9 other movies in this franchise.
I know. I keep saying I want to know how this leads into Jason X. I really hope that they're all connected in some stupid way so that he just ends up in space.
Yeah, if you don't know, that came out, I think, either the late 90s or the early 2000s. And you heard Craigie correct. He does end up frozen and in space where he gets thawed out and kills everyone in his spaceship.
That's the one I need to see. I could skip the other 8. I just want to see that.
No, you should
that
see
sounds
Freddy
like the movie
vs.
of my
Jason.
dreams. I do want to
You
see
totally
that too.
should. Oh, that movie's
I'm
wild.
sure I would love it.
That movie's wild.
But yes, I I enjoyed this one more than Halloween. I still wouldn't say this is one of my favorites that we watched so far, but I thought the pacing was better. The characters still sucked. But stuff, I feel like stuff actually happened throughout the hour and a half. It didn't overstay its welcome. I think an hour and a half was a good length for the film. They do a good amount of subverting your expectations, which is fun. My biggest complaint, and I know I talked to you about this off mic already, and it's not really the movie's fault, more our fault because we watched Scream before this.
I know.
And if you watch Scream before you watch this movie, or if you listen to our show, Scream spoils the twist of Friday the 13th. That Jason Voorhees is not the killer, it's his mom.
But it had been already out for 16 years, so I can't really blame them.
No, me neither, but I think that if I would have went in completely blind and I didn't know that, I bet I would have thought that was so cool.
Which is also, now that I think about it, that's really weird to think about this movie being 40 years old.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, it came out, I think in May of 1980.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it's been 40 years, Jesus Christ.
Jeez, yeah, that is crazy. But, yeah, it's weird, because Friday the 13th is so iconic with Jason and his hockey mask and everything, and that's not even in this movie. It's crazy.
He doesn't make that appearance. First of all, him being full-bodied, scary grown man, let alone with that hockey mask and stuff, doesn't appear until the second film. That also, fun fact, shouldn't exist. When they made this movie, their complete intention for this was it to be a standalone with nothing else ever made.
Really?
And the people who originally wrote this script and made this movie were pissed that they decided to make Jason the killer because, in their words that I've read, Jason was never the killer. He was a victim, not a villain.
Interesting.
But they wanted to make money. These people, I get it. I think it was originally made by Paramount. Paramount loves cash. So I think I understand why they did what they did.
It is weird, though, because I feel like the movie is fairly grounded until the very end.
I know.
When Jason jumps out of the lake.
I know.
Which is also was a very cool and a subverting expectations scene. I really did enjoy that. And we'll, of course, get to that. And it's funny because as we were going to that scene, Anna's like, this is the part. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, this is like the scene from this movie. And I was like, the movie's not over?
No.
And it was really cool. So.
And had you not seen that scene before in something?
Never.
It's funny because I know that they've parodied it in things.
Oh, really?
I know they put it on Family Guy.
I mean, maybe I have them and I just didn't know that's what it was.
I know that they've edited into other things and brought it up, but talk about a jump scare. Like, that's what would have gotten me at being like a very young person.
Yeah.
Young at a time like when this came out where stuff was just very different, and the kind of movies being made were very different. Like, Carrie had barely come out.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the movie, again, scared the shit.
I'm excited to watch that one, too.
Have you never seen Carrie before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, my God.
I don't think we ever put that on our list, so we'll have to add that.
First time I saw Carrie, I was 4.
I've heard that's a very interesting movie.
It's a weird movie. Stephen King book.
Because that's like a more psychological, right?
Yes. It's just, you'll see.
We'll get to it eventually. So.
But right now, it's Friday the 13th.
Of course. So, hope y'all watch this one. If you haven't, I think you could still experience this episode because there's nothing really that plot heavy. And like I said, if you, if you listen to the 8 minutes already, you already know the twist. So.
That's true. And I mean,
and
honestly,
if you've seen Scream, the twist has been spoiled for you too, like me. So.
And like this movie happens over the course of maybe a day. All of this shit.
Yeah, which is kind of cool, actually. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it happens. And I mean, I have to say, it is a lot of things to occur in that span of time.
Yes.
I definitely think these people, as much as I still don't like them, they were definitely more fleshed out than they were in something like Halloween. Like, these are more like, oh, you're all idiots, like the people I grew up with. So I'm like, yeah, this could happen. This would happen.
Yeah.
But, here we go, this movie. It starts in 1958 at the notorious Camp Crystal Lake. That, again, if you've never seen this movie, it doesn't matter. You've seen Jason's hockey mask, and you've seen something that says Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, I knew what that was, too.
So it starts out at Camp Crystal Lake. It's 1958, and 2 of these counselors at this camp have snuck away from the other campers, doing whatever, sleeping, hanging out, being all kumbaya. And they go into a storage cabin to do the deed, get nasty. So they go into some storage cabin, and they're gonna do the deed. They're gonna do the do, be risque, be pretty spicy for 1958. The hippies haven't come out yet, so, you know. And somewhere off camera, they start, like, they're like, oh no, who are you? Like, oh no, you don't need to see all this, we're not doing anything. And then this dude just gets fucking wasted. And there's this girl just screaming, and I probably think that's the most realistic death scene is hers. When she's just like, no, trying to, like, throw things at whoever this person is, and just, again, it freezes, it just stops on her face, and she's just screaming, she's like, as one does. So, it jumps pretty much immediately to 21 years later, and there's a new camp counselor whose name is Annie, and she's getting a ride, she's hitchhiking up to Camp Crystal Lake that all of these local people in the town down the hill or whatever it is call Camp Blood. And they're all like alluding, like, you don't know what happened there, like, you didn't hear. She's like, fuck no, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you guys all hillbilly drinking bad water and shit? And so what? And so she gets, like, kind of creeped on by the old town crazy named Ralph.
Oh, Ralph.
And then somebody else is like, fuck, whatever, I'm just gonna take you up there about halfway, and kind of starts telling her, like, about the troubled past. Doesn't really tell her what happened, but gives her, like, the main idea that somebody drowned out there, a little boy, however long ago.
Yeah, he talks about how it's cursed, and then he talks about different ways people have died there.
Yeah, and I mean, this is somebody who isn't even as old as the time that's passed.
Yeah.
Between when that happened and now, because they're teenagers. Like, they're not college students yet. Like, she's maybe 18, she wasn't even alive when all that shit happened. So, she gets dropped off about halfway, and then she hitches another ride with someone that you don't see. They're just having, like, a normal conversation, whatever, and then they pass the turn-off point to go up to the cabins, to the camp, and she's like, I think that was the offset, like, I think that's the road we need to take, and the person just starts driving faster and faster, and she's like, no, I need to get out, like, you need to stop the car. And then they don't, so she heats herself out the door, and then this person stops the car and starts chasing her into the woods, and for a second you think she's in the clear, and then nah, again, wasted, dead.
Yes. And before that, it kind of cuts to the camp where we meet the rest of the cast, and they're all complaining. They're like, where's the cook lady? Why is she taking so long? Why did she here yet?
Where's Annie? I hope she fucking shows up. God, stupid bitch.
Yeah, and she's...
Meanwhile, she's fucking dead.
Yeah, she just got toasted in the woods.
Like, hella dead. Like, she was extra dead.
Yeah, so they kind of did a thing that I thought was interesting. Because this was, what, I'd say 20, 25 minutes into the movie, probably.
Yeah, maybe at the most.
And kind of made me think of course, not the same, but Scream.
Oh, yeah.
How you think that, what's her name, is going to be the main character.
She's not. Yeah,
Exactly.
I remember the first time I watched this, I really thought Annie was going to be, like,
the person.
Yeah.
And, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not as familiar with this stuff, but is this a trend that Psycho started?
I guess.
Because the girl in Psycho dies about half an hour in, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie is just about whatever else.
So I would say...
It's been so long since I've seen it that I don't remember, but I remember her dying a good amount of the way into that movie.
Pretty early on into the movie. And from what I remember, like, I've seen a lot of movies in my time, and I don't really remember any doing that, like, where it completely, again, subverted your expectations so much. Before Psycho. But that was a big thing for Hitchcock. So that's why people hold him as, like, the father of horror and stuff, is because he really changed things around. Changed the formula of how those movies were being made.
Which is cool. I just didn't know, because the first thing I thought of was Scream, and then I thought back and I was like, well, Scream is after. I was like, so they didn't copy that from Scream. But maybe Scream was inspired by that, and then I was like, well, maybe they're inspired by Psycho. So.
I like your brain.
I don't know.
I like it.
Well, what's a movie?
They're moving photos.
Oh, shit.
Moving Pictures, the album by Rush. So, again, Annie's dead. At the camp, there are other people, so the only one you really need to know is Alice. I mean, I don't even know if you really need to know her, but she's the only one who really matters.
Yeah.
Is Alice. And then there's the guy who owns the camp, whose name is Steve. I guess we can notice Steve. He's shirtless most of the movie and has a big old mustache.
He does have a large mustache.
That big 70s porn stash.
He rocks it, though.
He looks alright.
He looks pretty good. Is he the hunk of the film?
Yeah, I would say he's probably the most attractive man.
Is he attractive, though, or just
No, he's
of the selection?
of the guys there, he's probably the most
Kevin
attractive.
Bacon.
Is so gross to me. Don't even get me started. Anyway, so there's these other kids. There's probably about, I don't know. I'm actually counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
She has her list.
There's 6. I think there are actually 6 other campers, like camp counselors. And then Steve, who has bought up the cabins and he's making them like renovate. So there aren't actually going to be people supposed to be showing up for probably about another 2 weeks. So they're trying to refurbish everything, and he sees that there's a thunderstorm rolling in, and so he's like, shit, we are going to need more stuff to be able to maintain all this and get everything done in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to head into town and stock up on supplies for us, whatever. And the kids are like, yeah, okay, cool, bye, not dad, hey, we're going to do the tea. Because that was, I think it's still big in horror movies, but not like
just
it was
people
then.
Just having sex whenever they can.
Just constantly fucking.
Pretty much. That's another thing we'll talk about later is the sexualization of the female people in this film.
Absolutely, we will get to that.
But that was an interesting nod.
So true. So, not long after Stevie leaves, we have one of the other boys. They've all, like, gone swimming together, and one of the girls was like, wow, I could have swore I saw somebody on the other edge of the tree line across the lake. Like, oh no. So it's starting to rain a little bit, and so one of the boys sees somebody, walks into a cabin and goes in after them, and you don't see anything that happens after that. And then you see Kevin Bacon and some girl sneak off into a different cabin to go and, again, do the deed. They're making the bedrock, and
yeah, it's actually, like, softcore porn. It's
like seriously.
It's pretty graphic.
Yeah, it
actually.
was. Like, you get like whole boob. He's all like, oh, yeah.
That's true. You get a whole titty in this. And it's funny because she's like holding her other one, covering it, but then the other one's just out.
I know.
Like they like half censored it, and they're like, nah, we'll get the boys to come see this film.
Oh my god, true, I guess. And it kind of pans out in the middle of the passion, and you see that other guy. Is fucking dead. He's up there, his throat has been slit. He's just like, like tongue out dead. And so the girl leaves when they're done to go use the restroom. And Kevin Bacon reaches over, grabs his pack of cigarettes off the ground, whatever. Craig thought it was a phone for
It did look like he was grabbing his phone. I was like, wait. I'm confused.
He reaches over, and then he, lights a cigarette, and then he just gets a fucking arrow stabbed through his throat. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's
like,
very unexpected.
No, and that's the thing is, like, I am not a fan of gore. I love horror. I'm a squeamish gal.
Yeah, like,
I really don't like it.
Spoiler, if we ever do Midsommar, it'll be me and somebody else probably.
Yeah, I can't watch that movie.
Because we've seen, like, screen caps and stuff, and we know that she couldn't, like, physically handle to see that stuff, so.
It gives me the worst
As much as we would like to do that one, since it's considered, like, a modern classic horror film, that probably won't happen.
So, I mean, if anyone would like to be a guest for when that time comes, we're always here. Suggestions, you have our email.
bloodmonstersandfears@gmail.com.
Thank you.
BM and F podcast, Twitter.
I'm just not a gory person. I don't like it. Really rubs me the wrong way.
I get it. It's I think it doesn't bug me just because I know it's not real. Like, if I were to see something like that in real life, of course, it would terrify me and traumatize me, but knowing that it's the ketchup juice and whatever else, it just never really gets to me.
Real blood doesn't freak me out. Fake blood freaks me out.
And honestly, I think a big part of why it doesn't bug me is when it looks really good and convincing, I think I'm usually just more impressed.
That's fair.
Because I'm like, I know it's fake, but it looks real, and I'm like, oh, that's neat that they were able to pull that off.
I'm not like a wuss, I just look at it and think, like, disgusting. That's what it does. So, Kevin Bacon gets stabbed in the throat.
Rest in peace, Kevin Bacon.
Sorry, big Kev dog. And then Marcy's in the bathroom, whatever, she pees. Good for her. You should always pee after sex. And she's been followed into these communal bathrooms by the killer, and she thinks it's little Kev dog, who's actually dead.
Oh, yeah.
Dead Kev dog now.
And you hear that.
Oh, yeah. I'm famous for doing that, just for walking in a room with my family, just.
Yeah, that's another thing we haven't talked about. It's this weird footstep thing for the murderer where you always hear that noise. And I understand and appreciate that is iconic. But it makes no fucking sense. Yes.
Like, what's making that? Does she have, like, spurs on her boots? That's what making that noise?
Yeah,
like,
it's always bugged me because it just doesn't make sense.
Never understood it. And I've
like,
seen
I
so
was like,
many
does
movies.
she have an asthma problem?
Why are you calling me out? But,
I don't know. It's just, I feel like there has to be a legit explanation, so we should look into it maybe.
I would love to know. Maybe I'll
or
send
somebody tweet us and let us know.
Yeah, I want to know.
What the fuck the chi-chi is.
The chi-chi.
The chi-chi.
Okay, so the girl gets followed into the bathroom. You hear the chi-chi-chi, ha-ha-ha. And she gets an axe to the face.
Yeah,
and then
good.
just like shoved into one of the shower stalls where you can't see her. And
Yeah,
it's
so
like,
that's
oh.
fun. So this is where we were talking about the sexualization of the woman in this movie.
Yes, because
and with a lot of movies of this time, because she's just in her underwear. You get a lot of butt shots. The earlier sex scene, you don't really see any of Kevin Bacon, but you see a whole lot of her titty.
Yeah, like she's half naked, and it happens again later when the kids are playing like a game of Shred Monopoly.
Oh, yes.
You maybe see the guy in his shorts without a shirt on, and then the other girl is, like, down to her underwear.
Yeah.
It's not, like, we're not talking, like, a lined bra. We're talking, like, that is lingerie.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is true or not. And my theory, I told Anna, and she agreed with me, is I said that I think the way that they marketed these movies back in the day, and this is just a guess, I haven't looked into it, is I think that they did all the sexualizing stuff to the woman to convince the guys to go, and then the fact that it was a quote-unquote scary, spooky movie, like that a girl could like cuddle up to their man with when they're scared, was like the girl's incentive to go. So I wonder if that was a big part of the marketing of it, or if they just didn't have a problem as much like sexualizing women back then or what, but it would make sense to me, because I feel like even now that's like a thing that like young couples do for like scary movies, because it's like the cuddle excuse when you go on a first date or something like that.
Yeah, I love to snug during a movie. Any film. You can get me to go into any movie with the promise of snuggling up with you.
True, but I really do think that was probably what it is. I could be wrong. Maybe they just were being pigs when they made these scenes.
I mean,
but,
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
The
problem what bugs me though with these movies is that like these are all supposed to be like teenagers.
But they're not.
And it's like, I know that they're not really, but the fact that they're playing teenagers and then there's nudity, I'm like, that's a little weird.
I agree.
Because I had a really big problem with that in Halloween as well.
Well, yeah, because there's just like bare titty, everybody's fucking.
Exactly, and I'm like,
God.
but they're like juniors in high school. I'm like, I don't know. It's just,
it's great.
It's a weird line, and I don't really know how I feel about it. It doesn't really matter, I guess, because these movies are old and all the people were of age, but just an interesting thing to think about with these old movies and the way that they utilize their female stars, I guess is the best way to put it.
I agree. It's definitely it's food for thought for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So that bitch is dead. And then one of the other girls. So the two other girls. So there's Alice, the other girl, and this other dude. Fuck their names. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, literally no one's relevant except for
Alice.
Alice, yes.
So it's them, and they're playing, like I said, strip Monopoly.
Ooh.
And things are getting hot and heavy. No, they're not.
Not really. They're fucking stealing the dinosaur peak. I don't know what those towns are called in Monopoly.
Oh my god.
What?
I swear to God.
Can you name a single piece in Monopoly, a place you could take?
Let me think. Atlantic Avenue.
There you go, see? Well, you're just thinking of Yellow Card now. That's not fair.
That's... What is it? There's a place off Ocean Avenue. You had it wrong.
Oh, oops.
Fucking noob.
You know what? I got into pop punk late in my life. I was a post-hardcore and metalcore kid.
I was born into pop punk, you stupid bitch. Just kidding. I was listening to 9 Inch Nails in the womb. I was born with Trent Reznor singing
in your
my ear.
bones.
Yeah, I was always waiting for him.
And then you found out he did the soundtrack to the Facebook movie, and you're like, yes!
Of course, as one does.
That soundtrack is way better than it has any right to be.
Because it's fucking Trent Reznor.
That movie's actually really good, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a horror movie.
I mean, I have to look at Mark Zuckerberg for a long time.
It's not Mark Zuckerberg.
I know, I couldn't remember his name right now. Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg's my boy.
I know. Fucking
anybody that's in the main cast of Zombieland had to stand forever.
Oh, but God, but Justin Timberlake's in fucking The Social Network.
Oh, yeah, he is.
God, he plays the guy from Napster.
So is Brenda Song.
Oh, no. She gives... Oh, my God.
Yeah, she gives...
No, stop. Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, no.
Oh, my God, he's in it, too.
Spider-Man.
Damn, what a cast.
Spider-Man.
Now I just want to watch that movie.
Oh, God, no.
They really got a lot of good people in it.
I'm really angry.
All right, let's talk about that.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry for the diversion. So they're playing Sexy Monopoly. And the... thunderstorm is going on outside, and it's getting, like, it's raging, like, it's wild. And so it blows the door open, and the girl's like, no, I'm scared, I'm going to bed. And so Alice and that other dude are still, like, chilling, kicking back, doing whatever teenagers did then when they didn't have fucking smartphones. And so the other girl goes back to her cabin, and then she, like, runs out to go to the bathroom, whatever, and she is like, that's weird, I'm hearing something, that's fine. Goes back to her cabin, is set up in her bed, ready to go Betty bye, and starts hearing someone outside calling for help.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so she goes out, even into the rain, because it sounds like a child. Like, I think that's really what got her out of the bed, is she sounds like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And, she goes outside, and she's like, where are you? Like, how can I help you if I can't see you? And, she gets let out onto the archery range, because, of course, it's, camp, so they're gonna teach these kids archery. And the floodlights get turned on to her, and so she can't see anything, and so she gets fucking wasted. As one does. Mm-hmm. And so all of this is happening. Alice doesn't know what's going on. The guy she's with doesn't know what's going on. The other 4 people are dead all
mm-hmm.
around the camp. And Steve still hasn't been back. And so he's run into some trouble with his car, and that's kind of what's been holding him back. He has a trailer for the stuff. And so, a cop pulls over to help him out, and he gets out of the car and sees somebody else pull up, and for a second he recognizes this person, and then that person stabs him. Mm-hmm. And so Stevie's dead too. God, that mustache was so nice. I'm so sorry for him.
Rest in peace, hunk of the film.
So, ew. You thought about him and he grossed me out.
Like, never mind, he's not.
So, worried by the kind of absence of Steve and the other people that are at this camp with them, there's Alice and that other dude, and they leave the main cabin where they've been hanging out to go and see what's going on. And then they find an axe in the one girl's bed, and they're like, what the fuck? So they go and make a phone call, try to call into town, see if anybody's seen Steve, maybe call the cops to come and check on what's going on, and the phones are disconnected. So they're like, shit, okay, something's going on. So they go out to one of the other guy's cars, mm-hmm. which is pretty much the only one there, and it's not working. Mm-hmm. So they're like, shit, caught out in the rain, like, oh my god, what's going on? And all of the power cuts. So the guy goes to go check on the generator that's running on gas, and he's like, okay, like, this is full of gas, like, I don't know what's going wrong, and he kind of sees somebody appearing behind him, but you don't see anything after that. And so Alice is like, shit, where the fuck is he? And goes into the generator room and sees him pinned to the wall with arrows going through him, and I was like,
you're like, what?
And that's what Alice is doing. She's like,
yeah.
He's dead. She's like on the ground. She's like, oh no, my god.
Yeah, she wasn't taking it well.
No.
To put it lightly.
I'm sorry, that was actually really funny. So she runs out to the main cabin where they'd been before to hide, and like is blocking the door and hiding behind the windows, and has like a bat and goes and gets a knife out of the kitchen, whatever. And oh god, she is like hanging by the window, and then comes flying through the window is the girl who got shot through with the arrows, mm-hmm. and onto the ground. She's like, oh my god. So she runs outside, and she sees Steve's car, and she's like, oh shit, Steve, thank god. And she rang up to Steve, mm-hmm. and instead it's an older woman who is like, oh no, I'm a good friend of Steve's, my name's Mrs. Voorhees. And we know, because this movie came out 40 years ago, so we know, they're like, oh no, Jesus, mom, oh no. But she's like, oh thank god, I was gonna die, what's going on? And she's like, shut the fuck up. Essentially, is basically how she treats her.
And she's like, bitch, calm down. Everything's all right. And it's like, is it though?
And so she takes her inside because she's like, no, I need to see. And she's like, they'll kill us. And she's like, it's okay. She comes in and she's like, oh no, they were so young. You know, one day a long time ago, my kid died here. And it was like, what?
I was like, what? I'm like, that was a weird transition.
I know, it really is. Because she's like, Alice is like, what the fuck is going on? She's like, yeah, my son drowned in 1957 and his death is because the counselors were supposed to be watching them, but instead they were fucking, and so now my kid's dead and everyone has to pay. And so she's like, yeah, it was me, bitch. And so she tries to kill Alice, but Alice eventually knocks her out. Mm-hmm. But also something that's going on here is it's not just that it's Mrs. Voorhees. Like, this bitch has had, like, some kind of serious psychological break.
Oh, yeah. Because, like, she starts, like, speaking for Jason, like, in, like, a little kid voice.
She's like, kill him, mommy. And it's like, what the fuck is
and
going
that actually was pretty creepy.
It was super creepy.
It was super
That's
weird.
the thing that's held up. I'm like, oh, that ain't normal. Especially because, like...
Yeah, the look on her face is very unnerving, and, like, how happy she looks to be like, yeah, I'll kill him for you, honey.
Especially because, like, and not to get, like, super heavy, but in the modern time, we definitely talk more about mental health.
Yeah.
And that is something that she is just, like, hers is completely disintegrated.
Yeah.
Like, she is not
there.
Coherent. She's not really there anymore.
No.
She believes that what she's doing is right, that there is nothing wrong with what she's done, because it's vengeance. And
yeah,
it's
vengeance for her son. And she says at some point that, like, you'd think I'd ever let this place open up again or something like that.
Yes, but she also is, like, sitting there, like, blaming Alice directly.
Yeah.
Blaming these other campers who weren't
even alive when it happened.
No, these were not even, like, a thought in people's minds when her son died. But, of course, they're at fault. It's their fault, these crazy bitch.
Yeah.
And so she knocks her out, and so she's trying to get away, runs to the shore of the lake, and Mrs. Voorhees chases after poor little Alice, and they're, like, going at each other. At one point, Mrs. Voorhees is slamming Alice's head into the ground, and I was like, shit, this is like a WWE match.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And so she tries to kill her. She grabs a machete out of the car and tries to yeet it at Alice, but Alice gets the advantage over her, and straight up chops that bitch's head off.
My God, that did not hold up well.
No, because it's like the blood squirting a little bit, and she kind of moves.
It was like, if anyone out there has seen the Holy Grail with Black Knight, when it's just like the little blood squirts squirting out of the arms. That's what it looked like coming out of her neck.
It's true. It's really,
that was really funny.
It was really funny.
But you know me, I like my cheesy stuff, so I still enjoyed it.
So
I'd rather like that than super realistic. I was like,
So our best friend Alice is like, fuck, I'm so tired of it.
And she like gets on a boat and floats into the middle of Crystal Lake.
And she's like, I'll be fine. She falls asleep, and she kind of wakes up because she sees the cops are rolling up, and she's like, oh God, finally someone will rescue me. And then Jason's fucking decomposing corpse yeets himself out of the water and drags her in.
Yes, that was the iconic scene we were referencing before. Because it seems all peaceful and like everything's okay now.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden...
It's like, bitch, no.
Yeah.
So she wakes up in the hospital and she's like, where the fuck is Jason? And they're like, no, there is nobody. It was you. She's like, he grabbed me and brought me into the water. And they're like, there was nobody there but you. All your friends are dead. Mm-hmm. And she's like, all ominous and creepy, like, then he's still there. And that's it.
Yep, and then the credits roll in the pretty lake.
Oh, pretty lake.
And that was a hell of a night for Alice.
Poor Allie.
Is she in the other movies?
I don't know. I think so, but I don't remember. Like, again, because I didn't see them in sequential order.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I saw this one, and then I saw Freddy vs. Jason, and then I saw Friday the 13th Part 4, and then I don't even know, I don't think I've actually seen the second one.
Oh, really?
To be honest.
Interesting.
Yeah, no.
We'll have to watch it when we do a sequel month next year.
We will.
We'll do Halloween 2, this 2, Hellraiser 2. It'll be a good time.
God, I'm excited.
I am excited. But yeah, so overall...
Kind of a weird, crazy movie.
I liked it, though.
Crazy.
I definitely thought it was better than Halloween, and I thought it was funny because you and a lot of other people were like, well, you're not going to like this one because you didn't like Halloween. But I thought this movie was better paced, had more going on, I thought that there was an actual twist that was interesting, unlike Halloween, where nothing about Jason is explained.
Mm-hmm.
So all of it feels kind of random and meaningless. Like, at least this movie, like, there's a reason for Mrs. Voorhees being a psycho bitch.
I know.
And it makes it a bit more interesting, in my opinion.
I agree. And I mean, a way to ease into our fun facts that I'm going to start on.
Oh, of course.
So the original inspiration for this movie, considering that there was a really short span of time between when this came out and when Halloween came out, they were like, oh,
yeah, because this was
Halloween.
after Halloween, right?
Yeah, they were like, oh shit, Halloween's lit. Let's make a movie like that. So they really looked at Halloween and were like, ooh, that's the shit.
Like, we could do that a little bit better.
And I also
Bunch of horny
know...
teenagers getting slashed.
Gross.
I
But
mean,
they
that's
slashed
what-
more people, didn't they?
Yeah.
Or equally as many? No, more.
Yeah, I think it's more. Because what, 4 people died in Halloween?
Yeah, and this is...
This is 6.
6.
I think so.
Right? Because, okay, wait.
all the kids except for Annie. So that was
5.
6, including... Or, instead of Alice, so that would include... And then, Mustache Man.
And then those 2 kids at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so that'd be 8?
Actually, this is a way better higher body count. Damn, Mrs. Voorhees, she out here getting lit, killing
She's a
people.
baddie.
I do know that this movie was being advertised before they even were like, yeah, it's gonna get signed and it's gonna make money and there's money actually behind this to make the movie. They were advertising this. And I'm like, that's one way to do it.
Yeah. Interesting.
You know? And it also, I've been trying to tell Craig this for the last half hour.
Oh, what? You just keep forgetting?
Not adjusted for inflation.
Uh-huh.
This movie took, in 1979, when this was filmed, $550,000 to make. And I think that is crazy, because I feel like that is so much money, even then, to make a movie like this. Where all of it is happening, like, within the same, like, 20 feet.
Yeah, that does seem pretty high for having no big names, being in one location, not over a long span of time.
Yep. But this movie made like $60 million. Which
wow.
is also crazy.
Yeah, that does seem... That's really weird.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very strange to me.
What was the budget for Halloween? Do you remember?
Like nothing.
Chance?
Like maybe $30,000. No, because that's how much Jamie Lee Curtis was paid. Not as much as this. That much I remember. Which I think is crazy. I think it's so crazy.
I'm looking up the budget for Halloween now. I'm curious. It was $300,000. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was insane. It made way too much money. It took way too much money to make, and it, you know. Also, apparently, the lady who played Mrs. Voorhees took this role so she could have enough money to buy a new car. I'm like, oh my
awesome.
god. I'm like, me
She has
too.
her priorities set.
Truly, like, I wish I knew. Jeez.
That's really funny.
And so, also, in the first drafts of this movie, Jason was supposed to be, like, a normal kid. He wasn't supposed to look like...
The gross zombie boy.
Whatever the fuck that is. That we've all seen. Whatever that thing is. You know, he was supposed to be just, you know, some kid who accidentally drowned, but, once it came down to furthering the script and writing down more, they were like, yeah, no, he's gonna be fucking disgusting. He's gonna be tragic and gross. But also, that scene where he eats himself out was not in the original draft of this movie. What happened is it had been just exactly like what you see before she wakes up in the hospital.
Yeah.
And then they went and saw Carrie.
Oh, interesting.
And they were like, oh no, we need something like that. We
something
need
supernatural or what?
Not even necessarily supernatural. They wanted something that's going to get people to jump out of their seats. They need something that people are going to go and tell their friends, God, dude, you have to see this movie.
The ending is wild.
Yes. So they rewrote it and only shot it with people who really weren't in the movie other than her. Other than Alice. Which I think is crazy. Like, this could have been a very different movie.
Yeah.
And if, you gotta think about it, if they had not rewrote those, like, 4 minutes of screen time, this whole franchise wouldn't
Probably
exist.
wouldn't be a thing, yeah.
No. So
because there would have been no Jason to base anything off of.
Which is insane to me. I'm
It's pretty crazy, yeah.
God.
How wild.
Because again, they're like 9, I think. Let's take a look. Because mind you, that franchise is huge. Because let me try to remember. It was originally owned by, owned by Paramount when they put it out. And now it's owned by Warner Brothers.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's been owned by Warner Brothers for a really long time now. So there are, I think, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 total. If you include the one that got made 11 years ago, which I think is crazy as hell.
That is a lot.
You have to think that this franchise is spanned, that already was 30 years of time it passed. And all this merchandising, I mean, look at the video game that they've had, more than one video game that they've had, the Halloween costumes, the toys, there's been a TV show as well that was made off of this, that they've talked about rebooting. Like, this has gone on for so long. So much has spawned off of this one movie that if they had not rewrote 4 minutes of screen time, this would not exist. If they hadn't made him into some creepy little, swamp boy, we wouldn't have any of that. We wouldn't have some gigantic man. Because mind you, again, in all the other movies, he is a huge bitch.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's fucking huge. Walking around with a big machete and a ski mask, who never talks. Who's all deformed and shit under there. Who can't die, I guess. I wish I was half as resilient as Jason. Swear.
That's funny.
None of it would have happened. And then people were like so in love with these movies that love his character. I know when we went to the Monster Museum, he's one of the first. Not even necessarily one of the first. I know there's more than one thing of him. Yeah. Statue of him.
But he's one of the only people that they have like an actual set for him.
Yeah,
like there's a big. You should post a picture on Instagram. Actually,
I will.
It's a big like walkway that leads to like Camp Crystal Lake, and he's at the end of it. It's really creepy and really cool.
Oh, it's scary.
And the statue is huge.
It's huge.
It's like a 7-foot statue.
Because he's a huge bitch. In the words of Deuce Bigelow, he's a huge bitch. And I just think it's nuts. Like, the people that have, like, look at Kevin Bacon. He was not some top billing actor when this movie got made. But look at what this movie led to for his life.
Yeah.
Like,
Footloose.
And you have to think, definitely in the terms of, if they hadn't done, like, what they did at the ending to make it more noteworthy for people to go and see it, nobody would have seen this. So he very well may have never truly been discovered.
Yeah.
He would never have ended up being a star.
Yeah, because he's the only really famous person to come out of this. I mean, even Alice, who's the main character, technically, I don't know anything else she's been in. Know her. Maybe she is, but
she's not somebody I recognize, and I'm usually pretty good with that.
Yes, you are.
But I can't help it.
But I have a fun fact too, since you mentioned the Friday the 13th games.
Yes.
For any of you really, really niche nerdy people out there that like retro video games, there's a Friday the 13th game on NES. It's known for being pretty shitty, but nowhere is it mentioned, and you really got to look for it deep in the internet and everything else. But it was developed by Atlas, who a lot of people today know for the Persona series and Shin Megami Tensei and all that. So I just think that's kind of neat, because that's one of the first like major games that they worked on, and it's just kind of funny to think of what they did back then and what they do now.
I think that's wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, good movie. I would recommend seeing this one. I think it's worth it. I think it's a good a popcorn flick.
Yes, I was about to say
like the definition of a popcorn flick. It's the perfect length. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It gets slow at times, but never to the point where you're like bored or wanting to like turn it off and watch something else.
Not like I was with Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. So.
And this is definitely like, it's a good movie to make some popcorn, snuggle up with someone you like being around. It's fun, especially because you can take the shit out of this movie.
Yes.
Like, there's that scene where that girl, it gets yeeted through the window, and it cuts to her being on the ground, and you see that girl move.
Oh my gosh, yes, it's so
funny.
Like,
you see her move her head like a
like the wrong way, like she's just like adjusting from a nap, not like she's dead and falling over.
This is your final cut?
God, that shit was so funny, I forgot about that.
And I will say, though, it doesn't... And this annoys me with a lot of movies from the 70s and through the 80s, is it's not even the visual quality, the audio quality sucks dick.
Oh yeah, it's terrible in this movie.
It's really bad. And that's why I'm like, yeah, this is definitely a product of its time. And like, even the remake that they made was it's a very different. No, okay, maybe not a remake. The 12th sequel.
Shit.
It's a very different movie.
Is that technically a reboot or no?
I don't think so because he's all like grown up and stuff.
Oh,
and
he's in it?
They know they like talk about like, oh, all this stuff happened at Camp Crystal Lake.
Okay. Interesting.
But it doesn't actually happen at the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Not really a spoiler. It doesn't. That came out at the same time as like the My Bloody Valentine reboot, which is bad, but it has the other guy, the really hot guy from
yeah,
Supernatural.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
Jason Ankles.
I swear to God. But yeah, I mean, you like machetes, you like crazy moms, you like Kevin Bacon. This is a movie I think you'll enjoy.
Yes. And sorry for this being a shorter episode. It's a shorter movie.
Yeah,
so there's not really as much to say.
You
could really summarize the plot in a much shorter, cohesive way than we did. We just are trying to make a show out of it. So it's really, there's not much to it, but it's a good time, and we would both recommend. But next week, we're doing something new.
Something new, something fresh that neither of us have seen.
True.
Because it'll be a brand new film.
Yes, this will be the first review, I believe, that is something that neither of us has seen. It'll be the first time we are seeing a brand new movie that's in theaters, and we are seeing...
Freaky!
Yes, for those that don't know, why don't you give the pitch?
So the way that it looks to me right now...
From the trailers, yes.
This super cute gal who's not popular, doesn't fit in at school, but she's super cute. She was also on Supernatural. All my babies. And she's, not cheerleader material, so she's the mascot at her school, and she just wants to be noticed, and they aren't, nice to her at school, whatever. And one day she's waiting for a ride to get back from the game, and there's this dude, and there have been, mentions of this serial killer around town, and so she tries to get away, and he wastes her ass. And then when she wakes up, she's obviously not dead because she's fucking in his body, and the guy is Vince Vaughn.
Yeah, so it's like Freaky Friday, but like a high school girl switched with a serial killer.
Yes,
and it looks great. It looks really funny. If you've seen the Happy Death Day movies, it's by that guy.
Yeah, so it's definitely
that guy. I don't know his name. I wish I could give credit to that director. But I think he's doing a really fun thing, making these comedy slasher movies, basically.
Yes,
because the Happy Death Day movies are so fun. I actually really love them.
They are fun. They're
I think
quirky.
They're a great time.
They're a good time. Again, a popcorn flick, but
yeah,
you have your laughs. You're like, oh my god, these people are.
And then there are a few tense moments and a few scares and everything else. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it'll be really fun. And shout out to Vince Vaughn, because I actually really like him too. And I feel like I haven't seen him in anything in a while. So didn't you say you've seen him in person?
Yes.
When he used to work on the Las Vegas Strip?
So, many moons ago, story time, y'all. Many moons ago, I used to work at the Lucky Brand Jeans in the Miracle Mile shops at the Planet Hollywood here in Las Vegas, down in the Strip. And one day I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to get me some at the Starbucks on my way to work. So I went into the Starbucks in the MGM. Because it's right on the corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana. So I walk in, I get my coffee, I'm walking out, and they're probably 30 feet away from me, and someone, you cannot mistake him for anyone else. He was fucking huge. That is a huge bitch. He was so tall, and there were people all around him, and he has the biggest forehead ever. But he was being super nice to people, super personable. Hey, yeah, no problem. You want a photo? That's great, awesome. It was fucking huge.
Do you kind of wish you would have gotten a picture with him?
Hell no.
Why not?
I'm so afraid of really tall people. God, if you're really tall, please don't bother me.
Oh my god.
I'm so scared. But yeah, I'm actually really excited to see this movie. It looks fun. I really like the girl who's in it. Her name's Catherine Newton.
Yeah.
I really
so
like her.
we encourage you guys to go see it, of course, and send us your thoughts at our Twitter, BMNF Podcast, our email, bloodmonstersandfears@gmail.com. If you guys don't see it, since it's something brand new, we're going to do a spoiler-free kind of mini review at the beginning. Just 5-10 minutes talking about the movie in general without spoiling any plot points, really, just for the sake of if people want to see it. I mean, even if the plot is kind of whatever, still a new movie. So for the respect of you guys, if you want to go see it first, and then you could dip out and listen later, or if you don't care, then you could listen anyway. But
I do know as well that if you would like to put this next review on hold until you see it, It does come out into theaters Friday the 13th. Ooh. But it does also come out for streaming, I saw, on the 4th of December. So if you'd like to wait another couple weeks before you listen to our next review so you can see it at home, comfort of your own home, COVID-free,
yeah, of course.
be my guest.
Yes. But, for the most part, theaters in Vegas are doing it in a way that makes us feel safe, at least.
Yes.
So... And we've gone to a few movies, and we've been the only ones in there, too.
Yeah,
so like, you could rent out theaters, or you can go, and they have it, like, they sanitize the shit out of it. They have everyone separated by, like, 3 seats, and each other row is empty and stuff. So we feel comfortable, and, like, if you guys don't, or it's different where you are, we understand. Like she said, it'll be on streaming services early, which is nice. So, and it looks like a good movie, so hopefully we have a good time. And if not, back to normal after that, doing some other at-home... possibly garbage. I don't know what's after this, so because I know we have one really stupid movie coming up in November for we won't say what it is, but for Thanksgiving week there is a Thanksgiving horror movie. You may or may not know of it, so that'll be a fun one.
It's Plane, Trains, and Automobile.
No, but that is the only true Thanksgiving movie and the best Thanksgiving movie.
I love you, John Candy. Rip, baby boy.
Yes, rest in peace, John Candy. But yes, I guess that'll be it for this week. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to follow us. Share if you enjoy. Tell your friends about us. We'd appreciate it. Follow the Instagram.
Blood Monsters and Fears. That's all it is.
Yes. Well, we'll post the fun picture of Anna running away from Jason, because I think that's what the picture of him is her
finally
her
topical.
running away. Yes.
It finally fits. I was waiting for this moment.
Yes, yes. So, yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Later,
Take care.
skaters.
I interrupted you. Sorry. Bye, guys.
Later, skaters.